But you played Duck Hunt, right? Remember Duck Hunt?
Yes.
With the ducks and the dog and all that, right?
Yeah.
You got a little...
Yep.
Yeah.
Had the little gun.
Yeah, exactly. So what I would like to see is a remix version of that, but they got the Falcons. Hello and welcome back to the Think RBA podcast. I am your host, Mr. OK, with all his OK hair. I got my boy, my brother from another, sir, Mr.
Hey
yo, sir.
It's good.
You know, have you ever played Duck Hunt?
Yes, I have. Are you trying to show our age, bro? Come on. You know these kids don't know about no Duck Hunt.
They're about to find out. And plus, you already see our age. You and I already got the salt and pepper. I'm a little ahead of you. That's all. I'm a little on the way, so I'm a little more seasoned. But you played Duck Hunt, right? Remember Duck Hunt?
Yes.
With the ducks and the dog and all that, right?
Yeah.
You got a little...
Yep.
Yeah.
Had the little gun.
Yeah, exactly. So what I would like to see is a remix version of that, but they got the Falcons.
I had no idea where you were going with it.
Because that's the state of the Falcon frenzy at the moment. And in this episode, I wanted to kind of, do a little deep dive, not a little, but maybe an extensive deep dive on a fan's perspective of how to fix this problem. Because, fans have a lot of opinions, coulda, shoulda, wouldas. So from a diehard fan who is always in agony week after week after week after week after week.
After week after week after week.
Correct. So I just wanted to kind of see how a diehard fan would fix this issue this conundrum that we're in. Are you okay with that?
Well,
this is a safe space.
I mean,
this is a safe space.
I appreciate that this is a safe space. I don't believe you that this is a safe space because I do believe...
No judgments whatsoever.
Yeah, I believe that there will be some judgments and some roasting happening, but that's okay. I mean, you already started with the Duck Hunt thing. So, which, by the way, Duck Hunt, just a side note, would totally not fly in 2024.
Oh, I know.
The actual gun that you had to shoot, like physical gun, yeah.
Right. Agreed.
I mean, look, we can dissect it. It's the multifaceted subject, so I don't know if there's a particular place you want to start.
No, I do have a starting point, but go ahead.
Okay. And can I just put a disclaimer though?
Sure.
Right? Because every fan feels like they know it all. They could be the GM and make all the right signings and make all the right deals and draft all the right players. Everybody thinks that they can be the best coach and run the right plays. And I would have done this. Oh, you should have done that. So I just want a disclaimer that anything I say is just my opinion, and I'm not going to put it out there as if they did all of this, it's just going to magically fix the Falcons. Because I'm not in the locker room. I'm not in the organization. I don't know what the culture is like. I don't know what their day-to-day interactions are like, who likes who, doesn't like who, like whatever. I don't know any of that. So I'm just going to offer my thoughts and opinions only, and not to say that they're right or wrong, indifferent, whatever. So I just want to put a little disclaimer out there.
Got it. I'm glad you were more of a reasonable fan in that way, where you don't know it all.
Well, but I can still act like I know it all. Don't get it twisted.
No, of course. Bro, let me tell you something. There is nothing more entertaining to watch than a delirious fan sitting in front of the TV yelling at the screen like the coach can hear him.
Well, let me just say that in the fourth quarter of the game on Sunday, I was sitting in front of the TV yelling, not at the coach, but I was yelling at our quarterback because of the decisions that he was making. So I'm going to say have you ever seen that picture of like the guy who's laid back and then when shit gets serious, he sits up?
Oh yeah.
And it's like a drawing, right? Like, okay, Now it's time to get serious. Like that was me. I was chilling. Okay. Game's going back and forth. Then it became, crunch time. And I was like on the edge of my seat and very much emotionally invested into what was happening in a negative way.
Listen, I got front row seats that one year that no Atlanta fan wants to talk about. I had front row seats.
I'm gonna cough over that so that we don't need to revisit 28-3. Thank you.
It's still a fresh wound.
It will forever be a fresh wound.
Got it. Well, I'm glad you brought up the why you were yelling at the TV because that was my starting point. Let's start where everything starts, man. The golden child of any team, any football team, is the quarterback, right? Quarterback gets
Yeah.
everything.
Yep.
So it seems like you know how we say Houston, we have a problem. We might need to change that phrase. Atlanta, we have a problem, bro. What in the world? Can you help us recap the experience you had when that was going on and what as a fan what was going through your head besides why did we sign this guy?
So I did not have that thought. I mean, I know why we signed him. I still agree with why we signed him.
Okay, wow.
For the record. But I will say, especially in this most recent game, he 4 interceptions. I mean, he really made some questionable decisions. But even more than that, I was watching with my brother-in-law, and it was like a lot of throws were forced into double, triple coverage, like even once it didn't get picked. And they weren't easy throws. And I'm like, why is he continuing to force this into double, triple coverage? Like, it's clearly not there. And then the really bad one, which is when we were right, I think I don't know if we were in a goal to go situation or we've been right outside the 10, but like the defensive line kind of scattered around him and he was able to step up through the pocket. He had Bijan coming across and he really could have just dumped it down to him. Probably would have been a touchdown or at least it would have been a positive gain. Instead, it was like he was trying to float it out of the end zone, but he didn't put enough on it and it got picked in the back of the end zone. It was a literally head scratcher. Like my nonverbals are automatically picking up because I was just like, how do you make that throw in that situation? Like, it's just not it's a bad decision. It's a very bad decision, and so were some of the others. And like, and what's crazy is like on a day where you have, Bijan Robinson go 26 carries for 102 yards, plus he had 33 yards receiving. Like, you had some things that were going on, but we just couldn't get it done. I don't know. I'm trying to remain hopeful because the we talked about like the argument that's broken out now is, and I don't know if you want to get into this. I don't want to preempt your questions, but like the argument that has broken out now about should we bench Kirk Cousins and start the rookie, right?
Right. And that was my follow-up. Like, is that the next reasonable, logical step at this point?
I mean, I think it's a little bit too early for that. But I think this week is going to be the most critical week, and we kind of talk about that. But
even though it's you've been having a 3-game slide, right? Like,
so talking about that 3-game slide, right? He was against it started with New Orleans, right? Bad situation. You're coming in. New Orleans fired their coach. They promoted an interim who all the players love. They were fired up. Are not only a division rival, but our arch nemesis. So they're always fired up to play us no matter what. Like, it doesn't matter when we play New Orleans. This is the thing folks got to understand. When Atlanta and New Orleans play, it's like Baltimore and Pittsburgh playing. It's like, some of these other rivalries, these big rivalries, both teams get up for this game. Right. It doesn't matter if one is good, the other's not. Both are bad. Both are good. Both teams are going to get up. That's why the rivalry is so even over the course of history, because we just go at it, right? And I hate that team, but I respect the fact that we always go at it. So I kind of knew going into that game, I was like, I feel like we're going to lose this one just because they're going to be riding a pure emotion. Like, oh, finally this coach that has not been working out, he gets pushed to the side. They promote this other guy who's super passionate, super fiery, kind of Dan Campbell-like, right? Oh, they're going to come out with some juice. And they did. And again, we lost by 3, but there were other situations that we could have easily won that game. But you're not talking about a blowout. The Denver game, and oh, by the way, Kirk had no touchdowns and 1 pick in that game. In the Denver game, now that was the one that was like, whoa, because we just got blown off the field from start to finish. Again, no touchdowns, 1 pick. And then there's nothing else. There's nothing positive to say about that game, 38-6. But then we have a bye week, right? You have a bye week, and you come back from that bye week at home against the Chargers. Now, the Chargers are a good team. Don't get it twisted. But they're missing their starting running back. You're coming off a bye. You've had a 2-game lose streak. You just got smoked by Denver. And we didn't think Denver was going to be a good team. Look, Denver's a good team this year. Point blank period. Denver is a good team. They're going to be in the playoffs. Like, they're a good team. So you got smoked by Denver, and then you come out for the bye, and then you lose by 4. Now, part of that would be Kirk's four interceptions that he threw. But at the end of the day, we were still in the game. We also have a problem too with our field goal kicking, right? So and Koo missed. I have to double check if he missed 1 or 2. I know that there was a couple of opportunities for us to win that game. So Younghoe Koo, he was 2 of 3. He missed a field goal. So, that changes things a little bit. So it was tough.
Just talking about Younghoe Koo, who is known for his kicks. Except this year he's been slipping. Again, he started the season slipping, right? So
I mean,
I'm gonna give him the name Younghoe who?
I mean, yeah. So you look at it like generally he's missed like 1 or 2 kicks a year. This year he is 21 of 29, so he's missed 8 kicks this year, and feels like they've all compounded, right? Because a lot of them have been critical, but he's also kicked some game winners too. That's the other thing.
That's 24 points though.
But he's also kicked some game winners too. So you got to take the good with the bad. I mean, we could do another whole episode on the state of kicking in the NFL right now, because you got Justin Tucker too, who's not had a good season, and just field goal kicking, like as a whole, has not been good this season. There's a couple of good kickers, but like it seems like there's a decline now. So I mean, again, like, so I guess the question, Lisa's out. I guess the question is like, this is why I try to be an objective fan. I can look at the loss and say, okay, we lost by 4 points to a Chargers team that is also likely to be in the playoffs. 8-4. I mean, they're a good team, right? They're a really, really good team. And we lost by 4 with our starting quarterback throwing 4 picks, right? We lost. We had multiple fumbles. It's almost like there's a solace in it. Does that make sense? Like, we were at our worst and only lost by 4 to a really good team.
You know what that sounds like?
What?
A really slow, painful crash that you're watching in slow motion.
No, so what I'm saying in the sense of, if you're looking at, if you're the coach, right?
No, I got you.
I just went out there with my team and we played our absolute. Yeah, we played our worst, and we still were in a position to win.
Right.
And we only lost by 4. Right.
And who was this against?
All the Chargers. They're 8-4 in playoff position. Like, they're a good team, right? It's not like we played some scrub, right? Okay. So you played your worst offensively. You lost by 4 to a good team. Now it's not, for me, objectively, it's not the time to panic, right? It's the time to, okay, we just got to fix some things, because if we don't make those mistakes, it's a different ball game. And if we win that game, we're having a much different conversation at 7-5 and leading the division, right? So I don't think it's time to panic. Yeah, back to the original question. Like, I don't think it's time to panic and bench Kurt and go to the rookie and do all, like, okay, we hit a little stretch in the season, but there's still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games left, right? And in these last 5 games, what are we going to do with it? But that's to circle back. This week is probably the do or die week. And that's because we are playing at Kirk Cousins' former team, the Minnesota Vikings, who, by the way, are 10-2.
Right.
And 5-1 at home. They've only lost 1 game at home, and that game was to the Lions, who are the other best team in the NFC.
I can already see it, bro. You know what's gonna happen?
What?
When the Falcons lose eventually, when Kirk throws a few picks again, you know what's gonna happen immediately? They're gonna come on the big jumbotron. Say, you like that? You like that?
I could actually see that. No, so look, for me, I think 1 or 2 things are going to happen. Either Kirk is going to go in there and he's going to, because he's extra motivated to play his former team that did not want to pay him, he's going to go crazy, right? He's going to want to put on a show for all of the fans that loved him while he was in Minnesota, and then we're going to win. Or he's going to go in there and they're going to crush us. And I think if that happens and we do lose the game and we lose it handily, and, again, he has, interceptions, no touchdowns, etc., I think at that point, then you consider, I would start to then consider, okay, now is the time to put in the rookie. Let him play against the Raiders. Let him play against the Giants. That's 2 games to kind of get in a groove of things. And then, I mean, three of our last four games, Raiders, Giants, and Panthers, like those are all games we should win. So even if we lose the Vikings game, this is where I go back and forth, right? Because I'm like, we should easily beat the Raiders, the Giants, and the Panthers. We're a better team than those three teams, not just record wise, but talent wise. And you give us those 3 wins, we're at 9 wins, right? Then the 2 games that are outstanding are the Vikings and Commanders. Commanders are good. Vikings are good. Like, those will be toss-ups. But I think this is the do or die week.
Bruh, you sound like a borderline Dallas Cowboys fan.
No, come on, bro. A Dallas Cowboys fan would be like, we're going to win no matter what. Like, I know realistically we can go into Minnesota and lose this game.
So, I mean, either way, Kirk's going to give a show by either passing the ball to the other team. So basically, you're going to lose by a little or lose by a lot.
No, I said we can also win the game too.
Sure. I mean,
yes.
and that's the Cowboys part that I'm getting.
Well, I mean, I don't think it's Cowboys. I mean, look, sir,
mm-hmm.
You know, one thing about me is I've watched a lot of football over my time and my years. Sometimes these storylines are like, they do come true. Like a player playing against a former team that gets extra motivated and has a crazy game to lead an unexpected victory. Stuff like that happens all the time.
It does, but it's not. But those are for organizations that have, that try to win. But we're talking about the Falcons.
See, here we go. You see, you said it earlier, and I told you I didn't believe you.
The Falcons have a Falcons problem. It's not a Kirk problem. It's a Falcons problem.
Okay. Well, hey, look. I guess this is something we can circle back on after Sunday, and we'll see what happens.
But in all honesty, though, right? Any given Sunday, anything can happen. But you got to be on your P's and Q's. However, if you were to ask 10 pundits, they would probably.
Oh, everybody's going to pick against us,
right?
Oh, right. Oh, absolutely, everybody's going to pick against us. But that's the time when that's the time when those upsets will happen. I mean, and they happen all the time in the NFL, right? I mean, you get teams that will come in and, the Raiders almost beat the Chiefs last week. It literally took a botched snap
for
the Chiefs, right? To beat the Raiders, who are 2-10.
Right.
The Chiefs are 11-1. So again, like records and stats and everything don't always tell the story when there's other storylines. The Raiders and Chiefs rivalry, right? Historic rivalry with them two as well. Those teams don't like each other. Okay, they play extra hard against each other. So you can throw records out the window when those types of things happen. You look at who was the other one that would just happen? Oh, the Panthers almost beat the Bucks last week. I mean, it was real close. It went into overtime, right? And the Panthers, because the Panthers had a chance to win it in the end. They were having a really good game and, just weren't able to quite pull it off. But again, record-wise, you would have thought they would get blown out. So these things happen all the time. And like I said, I just personally think it's going to go one of two ways. Kirk is going to be extra motivated and he's going to play out of his mind to the point that we can't lose, or he's going to play so poorly and we're going to lose. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think there's going to be an in-between.
Okay. Well, I know with the Falcons, you kind of have to, you either find out really early or you'll find out really, really late, never in the middle.
No, you're going to find out. Look, it doesn't matter what happens early or the middle. It always comes down to very, very late.
To the end. Correct. So let me ask you. It's the
story of my life.
I have another question. I know we focus so heavily on Kirk and the quarterback and whatever, but in all seriousness, is there another problem? Is there something else besides that specific problem that can help turn this around, right? And I get it, the quarterback gets all the glory and the flip side of it too, and the hate. But it's not just the quarterback, right? It's also defense. There's also other parts of this game, right? It's a huge roster. Is there something else the Falcons need, right? Obviously better kicking, but besides a quarterback, what else is the issue that can be corrected, which can help turn this thing around?
That's a fascinating question, and I hope that I'm going to give an interesting answer because I don't act like I have an answer for you, but I'm going to preface that with I don't know, because I'm not in the organization, the specifics on how to fix it. But to me, as somebody who watches all the games and follows it so closely, it's a consistency problem. And so where we make mistakes, it's like, one game, the offense is doing really great and the defense sucks. And we can't stop anybody. Next game, defense is doing their thing, like the Chargers. defense had a great game. He held the Chargers to 17 points. That should be a winnable game. It was a winnable game. Defense did well. Offense sucks. Then we'll have special teams issues. And it's like, we have yet to have all three phases of the game synchronized in one game. And that's the other thing, is much less trying to string together multiple games where at least the offense and defense are playing well together at the same time. It's just like this like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde thing where it's like, yeah, we'll have the best offense one week and then a terrible offense the next week and a great defense. You know, like defense played really well against the Chiefs. Offense didn't do enough to win the game. We should have won. Right? The shootout that we had with the Bucks, we won that game 36-30. Offense did crazy. Kirk threw for like, what was it, 500 yards and 4 touchdowns. But the defense gave up 30 points too. Like he had to throw that because the defense wasn't playing well. You know, defense played like trash against the Seahawks. Offense played like trash too. So we just don't get to consistency. And I think for us to like become a true contending team, like, yeah, you're going to have some losses here and there, but you got to be able to string together 4, 5, 6 games of just good football all around.
Right.
And that's not quite what we've been able to do yet. Like, we haven't turned that corner.
And yet in that corner means many seasons. So turning the corner. I got you.
Yeah. Gotcha. Well, I mean, but also talking about just this
That's
team.
A long corner, man. That's a long corner.
No, but I'm talking about for this team this year. Okay. Right? That's what I'm referencing. Like we have to, and then you only got 5 games left. And so literally like now's the time. It's now or never, basically.
All right. So let's do this one. To put a bow on it. I'm gonna put you in the hot seat. Okay. You are the GM in charge. GM in charge. Right. You are. They hired you. Mr. Ayo, we need you to fix this problem. What immediate steps are you taking to get us on the right track, on the right course, to fix this issue and to correct it and really fix this next 4 or 5 games, go into the postseason, and really try to make some noise? Let's turn this thing around. What are you doing? I mean, it's tough because the trade deadline's passed, so you can't like. It's not like I can go make any drastic moves. Right. So yeah, I mean, I think again. Well, how do you position a lot of it will depend on what happens this week. I think if we fall this week, then at that point, then I think I'm pulling the trigger with the coach. I mean, I'm obviously collaborating with the coach, but say, hey, look, let's pull the trigger and let's get the rookie in here and see if we can get a spark, because we need we need an injection of energy and we need to pull that in. Defensively, I think they actually fixed something after the bye, because we had 5 sacks, which is like, we're lucky to have 1 sack in a game, much less 5. So I'm hoping that they found and fixed the pass rush. I mean, I think those are the 2 things, is an injection of energy offensively to get back on track, and our pass rush. I mean, those are the 2 things that will get us into the postseason rolling. Okay. And now, is there somebody that you, as the GM, are eyeing as a potential pickup down the line for somebody on your team that you are okay to get, send off? It's got to be pass rusher. Okay. Got to be a pass rusher. I would love to pick up like a Micah Parsons. Maybe it's time to move on from the Cowboys and that experiment. Micah Parsons would be a great one. He's one I'd probably number one I'd have my eye on. Maybe Myles Garrett. Do you want to continue to boil away in Cleveland? It's going to take a lot to get him, understandably. Yeah. Those would be 2 that I would be looking at. And then I would say possibly a second receiver. Okay. And then you put Mooney in the slot. You move them all around the field. So you got London, a second receiver like a T. Higgins or somebody like that. Which I don't know if he wants to be a number 2 guy. Oh, DK Metcalf be another good one. Get like a DK Metcalf with Drake London and then Mooney and his speed in the slot. Oh my gosh. And Bijan Robinson. That would be kind of nasty. But those would be a few. I mean, it would be mainly pass rush and
maybe another receiver just to try to diversify up our offense a little bit.
Okay. And then would you actually recommend changing the style of offense or defense you play now? Are you satisfied with the way that it's a fast paced, slow pace, a lot of ground running, a lot of air mileage on you guys throw a lot? What's the deal? Like what switches changes are we making?
Well, I mean, I think that the offense is going to become more dynamic once Penix starts anyway, because he brings a different dynamic. I mean, he's a pocket passer by nature, but he's so much more mobile than Kirk Cousins. And I mean, that's just no knock on Kirk. It's just the reality, right? And so I think that he brings a different dynamic. That's what I mean by that injection of energy into the offense, where he can make it more. He's not Lamar Jackson, so I don't want to say Lamar Jackson-esque, because he's not going to run for, 50, 60 yards a game, but he will be able to extend plays in a way that Kirk can't at this point in his career.
Like what, Josh Allen? You say he can extend the play a little bit?
Kind of. Yeah. Even Josh Allen, like he's not I don't think he's going to be that kind of runner. I could be wrong, but I think that he's just going to be somebody who's a little bit more capable or his capability is going to be higher to be able to make plays. But then there's offsets to that, right? I mean, like he doesn't have Kirk's wealth of knowledge and experience and the same level of accuracy and timing, and like there's a lot of trade-offs to that. But at the end of the day, he's a football player. Like, hey, get out there, use your arm, use your legs, make some plays, bring some energy into this offense and get us going.
So would I be wrong in so when you described all that, the first person that came to mind was Kyler Murray, Russell Wilson, right? Escapability, making something out of nothing, extending a play.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't relate to them the same, because those are like smaller guys who are like quick and shifty. He's more closer to Lamar, but he's not gonna run as much as Lamar, I guess he's Lamar-esque. So
Okay. All right, well, we shall see.
And then defensively, like I don't know if it's the just not having the right personnel or scheme wise, like we just have to generate more pass rush. We can't let quarterbacks just sit there and dice us up all games. We're really good at holding people to field goals for the most part. Like, other than a couple of games that got out of hand, our defense has been really good at like bend but not break. But it's also frustrating as a fan to watch teams continuously move the ball like down the field and not be able to get stops. And then they get down there and they're able to kick 3 points. They're able to kick 3 points. First game of the season, we lost 18 to 10, which was a one score game, but all 18 of those points were field goals. There's no touchdown score. All 18, it was 6 field goals, right? Like, that's a tough way to lose.
Yes.
Your defense didn't give up a touchdown, but it's like they also are giving up yards to allow them to get into scoring range. And I think we got to tighten that up to be a more formidable defense that's able to get off the field. We need more 3 and outs and keeping the defense fresh, because they're on the field for so long. Eventually you get tired, and it's just human nature, right?
Right.
And that's when you start to make the mental mistakes and lapses. You give up a big play. You got to keep them fresh. Get some 3 and outs. Don't let them drive down the field as much. Try to hold teams to 14 to 17 points a game. Probably really more like 14, right? Keep them to 14. You can win almost every game that way. So,
okay. Well,
those are the changes I would make.
Well, now we have receipts from the GMAO, and if things go right, you can always use this as your resume, right? As your pitch to the Falcons, and say, "Look, I know what I'm talking about. I'm a fan that knows what he's talking about." Yeah,
right. They'd be like, "Please, sir."
I'm just saying, right? We got it on tape now.
Yeah, we got it on tape. Yeah. I love my team though, no matter what.
And that's the part I really enjoy, right? That no matter what, no matter how bad this car crash is, this car wreck is, this train wreck is,
it's not a train wreck.
My guy's still there, trying to help, trying to support. He's bleeding. Like this, it's just bad.
I love my team. I never give up on my team.
But bro, your team gave up on you.
No, they didn't. They got me.
Sure. They got you?
Stress, gray hair.
Correct. High BP every Sunday.
High blood pressure.
Every Sunday, all of y'all.
But I'll take it, though. I wouldn't give it up for the world.
I think the new logo for the Atlanta should be that.
Nope. I would not give it up for the world.
Hey, And power to you, my man. Power to you and all the fans out there who are diehard, support their team, no matter how delirious it may seem. Guys like me really watch, and that it's really entertaining for us to watch y'all sit in front of that TV yelling at whoever it is, like they can hear you, and then being visibly either happy or emotionally upset when the game, it doesn't even matter at the end of the day. But
To you.
to me, correct. It's just very entertaining. So thank you for the entertainment for all these years. I have some Jets fans. My friends are Jets fans, and my God, year after year after decades.
Look, I will say right now, I'm so glad that I'm not a Jets fan.
Bro, I was so glad I was not a Jets fan the day I learned about football. That's a bad.
But this is an incredibly frustrating year.
Bro, it's every year.
Them.
It's every year.
It is. But this year's a little different.
Is the train wreck that much worse?
I think it is. I think it is because of the expectations of bringing in an Aaron Rodgers and then he's healthy again. And then, you trade for his best friend, Devontae Adams. Let's rekindle what we had in Green Bay. And that hasn't worked out to the way that they want yet.
Yeah.
To firing the coach, to rumors that the owner actually wanted to bench Aaron Rodgers at a certain point. Just like it's been, the expectations were so high for them.
Yeah.
As opposed, there's been other seasons where like there's no expectation they're going to be good and they are not good, right? But like this was one of those. Okay, we got a squad now, and they should have been a good team. But for what I don't know what the reasons are, but again, glad I'm not a Jets fan. As Dylan would say,
they're the Jets.
Look, as Dylan would say, Jets means just to end the season.
And beautifully put. And with that, we will end the episode. Thank you, sir.
Just end the episode.
we will thank you for your fandom takes. You're sitting in the GMC, the virtual GMC. I loved hearing your breakdown of what is wrong, what could be wrong, how do we correct it. And listen, no matter how much I go at you, I generally do want you to just experience maybe a Sunday or two of just no stress, no anxiety, no high BP.
Oh man. I thought you were going to say experience at least one championship.
No, I'm more realistic, bro. Come on. All
right. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. I'm out. Peace, y'all.
I think RBA. Peace.